I have one more deal. This is my very favorite one.
Let's go.
So I've held it to the end. It's not a complicated one. It's extremely straightforward. I'm putting it on the screen right now. If you don't subscribe to at Fear the Fro Pod on YouTube, you should be. This deal is to bring in a man who was discussed this summer. And truthfully, we don't even need to put the players in it. I only did that for the sake of the screen cap because I thought it looked too empty down beneath. But Gerschon Yabusele is a guy that I think everybody should be hyper aware of, even if you don't want him on the Cavaliers. Because this summer, after a great Olympics run, there was a lot of discussion about, okay, Kenny has a connection to France. Will we bring over Yabusele? He can play some small ball four. What's been a revelation this year is that he's been the Philadelphia 76ers' most analytically sound center as well. So he can shift between the 4-5, and one of the biggest questions translating from international basketball to the NBA was, will his shot profile carry over? Will the three-point acumen carry over? And it has. He has been probably the high point for the Philadelphia 76ers, who are going through it this season. The problem is he signed a one-year deal, and because of that, he is not going, they don't have his bird rights. He's going to be on the open market this summer, and there is a great chance. In all likelihood, he has played himself out of the type of price tag. He's played himself above the taxpayer mid-level exception price tag. I would expect that next season, you're going to see him get in excess of $6 million a season. So this would be 100% just a rental for the Cavs because they do not have bird rights. They don't have early bird rights. None of that exists until a guy is on a roster for 2 years. So this would be, you're bringing him in to part of your unused exception, even though the screen is showing Tristan again. I just did that for visual effect. But really, you could just absorb Yabusele into your 15th roster spot, eat up some of your non-taxpayer or your taxpayer mid-level exception there. And then what would happen is effectively you don't get under the tax, or you have to do another maneuver to make that happen. This does not address that at all. But what it does bring in is a physical brute with great footwork, a strong outside shot who can guard much bigger than him. Now, detractors will say, well, he's 6'8". It's just yet another guy who's smaller than his position. But I would encourage you to just look at what he's been doing with Philadelphia this year, because of people, the reason why Yabusele is so attractive is because there will not be a market for him amongst teams rebuilding, amongst teams in the early part of their development arc. And the other reason to go after a guy like this is because teams like the Celtics, teams like the Lakers, contending teams have a strong interest in him. His contract is so small as a league minimum that he's easy to absorb for anyone, and he can be a difference maker. And don't kid yourself. The Celtics fans are trying to reunite with this guy because he's been so good on a pro level, and he addresses some of their concerns in the front court, that another motivation for me to do something like this would be to keep him from them.